Peace, kings and queens, gods and goddesses. So, now, many of you may not believe this, but there are age restrictions on things for a reason. There comes a point where we have to acknowledge that certain things meant for adults are not meant for children. And even things for teenagers are also not meant for children. There's a difference, and there's a reason for that. It honestly kind of pisses me off a lot that so many people ignore this and then act so baffled or confused when they are dealing with 15-year-olds who genuinely believe that they are grown. Well, from being told that they're grown their entire lives, from simply growing, to the exposure that they receive through entertainment, social media, and even their environments, it's no wonder that so many children don't know how to actually be children, or teenagers don't know how to be teenagers. That's not the space that they have been raised in, period. I recently saw a mom on TikTok say something that stood out to me. She said that if your child is too grown for mine, I'm ending the relationship. I clocked that shit, because period. And honestly, I felt that in the depths of my soul. And she went on to explain that it's the guardian's responsibility to protect the child's innocence. Once again, I'm going to clock it, because yes, and louder for the people in the back that does not seem to can't grasp this, because this is serious, and this is our reality. And that's a boundary more guardians need to adopt to, regardless of who it makes uncomfortable. It's not about anybody but your own children. And please know, that includes family. I've made a conscious decision to protect my children's innocence and give them the opportunity to just be children. I'm not compromising that to make fucking adults feel comfortable. It's not that I don't care. It's not my concern. It's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is not how my decisions are affecting others, but how my decisions are affecting my children. And that's really what should be my biggest concern. Whew. And trust me, my children, they read books, they play with dogs, they spend time outside, they have a set bedtime, they watch age-appropriate shows and movies, and are kept in a child's place because I've made a conscious decision not to involve them in adult matters. Stay with me. Because trust me, they sometimes feel jealous of other children who has phones or video games and more freedom than I believe is age appropriate. But I simply remind them, we don't live like everyone else. And it is okay to be different. And this is something that I intentionally have to remind my children every time that they are experiencing differences from how we live and how they see other children living. And the difference is prevalent. I'm not even gonna lie. But I'm standing on it. Because the truth is, too many people get offended instead of listening. They don't pause to reflect or process. They react. They feel attacked. And I've learned that this kind of defensiveness often comes from emotional immaturity, unhealed trauma, and pride. That is not how I'm operating. And I'm not judging either, because I have been there. I've been there. And I've had to process some uncomfortable things myself when it comes to even how my relationship is with my children. But I've done that. And I remember being someone who reacted in the same manner as others. But growth has taught me that just because you don't like what's being said doesn't mean it isn't something that you need to hear. And when it comes to my children, I'm speaking up every single time. What's shocking to me is how many people actually don't. I'll never forget that I took something to my counselor to process it in counseling. And he actually complimented me for advocating for my child. And I was just honestly proud that I didn't let my emotions take over when I heard something that bothered me that was said about one of them. That's why I took it to counseling. I kept my composure and I spoke up. But at the time, I didn't even realize that speaking up for any of my children was something that I had struggled with before. But as I reflect, I see the growth. And now more than ever, I am using my voice. And I don't plan on changing that. So respectfully, govern yourself accordingly if you desire to be around me and my children. Because I have that right as a mom. I have that right as a human, no matter how anybody feel about it. And I know that, for real. But I'm going to see y'all next time.